Today on this Stay-at-Home Chef, I'm showing you how to make a Funfetti birthday cake. This cake is made from scratch and it's totally fun and colorful and full of sprinkly goodness. I'm actually making it for my son's birthday and he is so excited about it. I know that your family will love it too. Start by preheating your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and then you'll want to lightly grease 3 9-inch cake pans with a little bit of softened butter. Then we're gonna take some parchment paper and you want to cut it into little round circles, and I just trace the pan and cut along the inside just to account for that little bit of width in the pan. And we're going to place these on the bottom, and this will keep our cakes from sticking, and I just lightly press it to seal it onto the bottom and it'll stick to the butter. Now once all of your pans are ready, you can set those aside and we're going to start working on our batter. It starts with 1 cup of softened butter. We'll place that into a mixing bowl along with 1.5 cups of granulated sugar. And then we're going to beat this together until it's light and creamy. Beat that for about 1.5 minutes on a medium speed. Next, we're going to add in 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. We'll just beat this in for just a few seconds, just enough to combine it. Next, we're going to prep our other ingredients because we're going to start alternating adding in dry ingredients with wet ingredients to this mixture. So we'll get our wet ingredients. We'll need 1.5 cups of buttermilk, and to that, add 3 eggs, and then just use a fork to whisk that together until the egg yolks are all broken up. And that's it for our wet ingredients. Now you'll want to be sure to use buttermilk because it's going to react with one of our dry ingredients, baking powder, to help our cake puff up and rise. If you don't have buttermilk, be sure to use a buttermilk substitute, and I'll give you a link to those options in the video description. Next, we'll move on to making our dry ingredients, and you'll need 3.5 cups of all-purpose flour, and to that you'll add 4 teaspoons of baking powder and 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and then just gently mix this together. And then we're going to take this and pour about 1/3 of it in with our butter mixture. And you just eyeball that, and then we'll mix this in gently until it's combined. Once the flour is mixed in, we'll add in 1/2 of our wet ingredients. Just pour that in there and mix that in. And once that's combined, we'll add in another 1/3 of our flour mixture, and then the remainder of our buttermilk and egg mixture. Finally, the remainder of our flour. And you'll see we end up with a fairly thick cake batter. Then we're going to switch to a rubber spatula and add the fun into our funfetti. You'll need 1 cup of sprinkles, and you want to make sure you use the kind that are like little sticks and not the kind that are like little balls, because the little balls will just bleed and melt into your cake and you'll have a huge mess. But these regular sprinkles work perfectly. Then you'll just gently fold these in, scraping the bottom and sides of your bowl as you go. But you don't want to overstir this, otherwise the color from the sprinkles will start to bleed into the batter and you'll have a colorful mess on your hands. Next, we'll divide this batter amongst our 3 prepared pans. You'll just eyeball it and divide it the best that you can. Use the rubber spatula to spread it so that it covers the bottom of the pan, and then we're going to bake these in the 350-degree oven for 25 to 30 minutes until a toothpick inserted to the center comes out clean. While those are baking, I'm going to make my frosting. Today I'm going to show you how to make a butter cream cheese frosting, which I really like because it kind of counteracts the sweetness of the cake and gives it a nice balance of flavor so that your cake isn't overly sweet. If you don't like cream cheese though, which I know that many of you don't, you can always use a regular buttercream frosting. Start with 1.5 cups of softened butter and 8 ounces of softened cream cheese. I'm just going to whip this for a little bit with a hand mixer. I whip that for about 2 minutes on a high speed until it's nice and creamy and fluffy. Next, we're going to beat in 3 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and then we'll just beat that in until it's combined with the butter and cream cheese. We're gonna start slowly adding in our powdered sugar, 1 cup at a time, until we add about 6 cups total. You just mix it in between until no more powdered sugar is showing before adding in more. Once you've added all 6 cups of powdered sugar in, your frosting is done. Now, if you want to make funfetti frosting, you'll fold in another cup of sprinkles just like you did with the cake batter. But today I'm going to frost mine plain white and decorate it with sprinkles and cover the entire outside because that is just super fun, but it does require quite a bit of sprinkles. Once your cakes are done baking, remove them and transfer them to a wire rack to cool completely before attempting frosting. If your cakes are still warm, you'll melt the frosting and end up with a huge mess. Assemble your cake by frosting in between all of the layers. And then once you get to the top layer, you'll want to frost the top as well as the outsides. Then decorate generously with sprinkles. And that's it, our cake is ready to party. You'll want to be sure to store this cake in the refrigerator because of the cream cheese in the frosting. Thanks for watching. You can find the full written recipe in the video description. Be sure to subscribe and check out the rest of my channel where we have hundreds of restaurant quality recipes you can easily make at home. See you later.